Hey everyone, welcome to another video, and in this video we will be talking about loans. I did a Q&A recently on Instagram, and one of the most requested videos I got was like, please help us understand how loan works, how interest rate works, how APR works, all of it. So I've compiled a list of terms and conditions and all of the things which you need to really understand to like make sure that you're not cheated by any of the lenders. Usually big lenders like SBI, HDFC, Prodigy Finance, Empower, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, all of these big banks are of course lending money to you, but there are also private companies like Prodigy and Empower and some other private lenders which are called NBFCs. NBFC stands for non-banking financial companies, so Prodigy Empower would come under NBFCs. So to understand the loan process really well, divided this video into multiple parts. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description so you can skip to the part which you really want to go for. I also want you to tell one important campaign which Prodigy Finance is running. I'm going to leave the details about that in the middle of the video. You can go check it out, and it's really important because they are giving you an interest rate reduction which no other company or banks are doing right now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. So the first thing we are going to talk about is the cost of attendance. Cost of attendance is not just your tuition fees. It's also your living expenses, your flight tickets. Living expenses include your accommodation, travel, food, all of it, plus your tuition fees, plus your health insurance fee. So what I need you to do right now is I need you to go and look up your I-20. There would be a living expense in there. So let's say your I-20 amount is 50K. Now, as an Indian student, honestly, we won't be spending $50,000 really on 1 year of education until unless you're living on campus, you're eating at the dining court. A lot of students I have a video of like how to do cost benefit analysis, how to calculate your monthly expenses in the US. I'm going to leave that link in the description. But cost of attendance essentially includes all of those things. Now, let's talk about ways to fund your education. It's important for you to know what and how you can fund, and it's just not loan which you need to depend on, right? The first is, of course, personal savings. Some of you might be working for a long time, and all of those personal savings are saved up now, and you're decided that if I do my master's, I'll be able to recoup that. Second is family savings. So parents would want to invest some money in your education, or if you have like your parents would be the first one, but if you have an uncle and aunt who's living in the US who will sponsor your education, and then that they'll give you a 0% interest loan, that's also a great way to fund your education. All you need to do during the visa interview is tell the sir and uncle, and you get a letter written with signatures and everything with his bank statements showing that, hey, my family is going to be supporting me, my family in the US is going to supporting me, or my family in India is going to be supporting me. Third would be scholarships. Scholarships are hard to get by, but if you end up getting a scholarship, nothing better than that. So if you get a scholarship, it's great. Usually scholarships will be shown on your I-20, or if you have an external scholarship from an external source, you will get a letter of confirmation or some kind of legal document saying that you have gotten this much of scholarship, and maybe some from your companies as well. A few companies also try to sponsor students to go to the US, study, and come back, and usually they'll give you a legal letter saying that, hey, you've gotten this funding and you can go out and study. Fourth one is assistantship, are when you are studying and working in the US. So assistantships are of three types. I'm going to leave a link of one of my assistantship videos as well. Three types of assistantships: graduate assistantship, teaching assistantship, and research assistantship. All three in a lot of university, I would say, like from what I've seen, more than 50% of the universities pay students fees and give them a stipend when they're doing an assistantship. But there are some universities do not pay your tuition fee, they just pay stipend. Now comes my fifth and the most important part is like education loans, right? I would say 80-85% of us are like dependent on education loan. I took an education loan for my education. My sister took an education loan for her master's from ASU. So we both have taken education loans. We both understand like how the process works and what is important to do. And not everybody is going to give you the whole amount of loan. Let's say your living expenses, your tuition fees, everything, all in all included is 60 lakh rupees. They might not give you the 60 lakhs depending on your financial condition, depending if you're getting a collateral or non-collateral loan, and we'll talk about all of this. Now, there are a few terms which I want to talk about and which I want you to understand really well to be able to understand the loan, right? The first is collateral. Collateral is anything. It could be a house, it could be a land, it could be a property, it could be even a shop. These 4 or 5 things are considered collateral. Now, there are some like HDFCs and SBI, they will give you very good interest rate when you go with a collateral loan as compared to a non-collateral loan. A non-collateral loan is very simple to understand. A non-collateral loan is where you're not putting any property, any land, any of your family's wealth, and you're taking your loan just based on your parents' score, like parents' credit score and your credit score. NBFCs, as I mentioned before, are non-banking financial companies. NBFCs offer loans without collateral and without cosigner, or without collateral, but they need a cosigner. So in those cases, you would need your parent to sign for your loan. A lot of times, like, parents are not totally comfortable sending their kid and they're against it, honestly, like super against it, and I've seen those cases. In those cases, students can go with lenders like Prodigy Finance, which do not, like, they don't even require a cosigner. So you have a collateral free and cosigner free loan, and you can just go get a loan based on your merit. They see what university you're going to, and they see what course you're going for, and then that's how they determine. They have like a back-end process to determine how to get a loan. Second thing is cosigner. As I mentioned, your parents could be a cosigner, your uncle could be a cosigner. Anybody who's making money and who has like decent amount of credit score can be a cosigner. Basically, they're co-signing that as I am taking a loan, if I default on the loan, that person is responsible for paying my debt. Very common process, nothing to worry about. Usually parents are the ones who are co-signing your loan. Third thing is APR. APR stands for annual percentage rate. APR, an interest rate. Let's just merge these two, right? Like there's like two terms, APR and interest rate. APR includes interest rate, but interest rate doesn't include APR. APR is your interest rate plus other fees. For example, when I bought my house, right, my interest rate was 5.875, but my APR was over 6%. Why? Because APR includes your homeowner's fees, your homeowner's insurance, your taxes for the year, all of this. So APR includes interest rate plus the hidden fees. And you should always ask your lender. Let's say you're going with SBI or you're going with HDFC Credila or Punjab National Bank. Ask them what is going to be my APR, what is all the hidden fees. Now, I want to tell you one very interesting thing. So Prodigy Finance reached out to me and they told me that, hey, we are offering this to like especially the followers here, and they have a rate drop campaign which is ongoing right now. If you go to the link in description and if you start an application, you'll be able to see that they are reducing your interest rate to 2%, 200 basis points. So let's say your interest rate is 13%, which you would get usually. Now you are able to get it reduced to 11%. They did this because they realized that interest rates are higher right now in London and US, and they did this to make it easier on students and to be able to offer them better interest rate, competitive interest rate. And the biggest important thing is that they don't require a collateral or cosigner. So a lot of students or individual whose parents are not agreeing to sending in the US, this is very important. There's a list of courses which is eligible for this interest rate reduction, but I'm going to leave that link in description. Go check it out. Once you're able to sign an application, fill out all that application. I think it takes like 3 minutes for you to get a quote, and for you to get a loan sanction letter, it takes another 2-3 days. But to get your interest rate, it will take you 3 minutes. So once you go to the link, fill out your application, and you should be good to go. During when I was taking my loan from SBI, there was a RIN rickshaw insurance and there was some fees which was involved. But APR would include your interest rate, plus they will calculate the RIN rickshaw insurance and like like make it a percentage and like put it in there. So doesn't matter if your APR is a little bit higher than interest rate. Your ideal thing would be paying back loan as quickly as possible. The fifth term is margin money. This is the money you will have to put in from your side. Let's say my education cost in the US is 50 lakh rupees. Okay. The bank has agreed to give me a 45 lakh loan, and 5 lakh is something which I have to put out of my pocket. That 5 lakh is a 10%, right? Out of a 50 lakh, the 5 lakh is 10%. So my margin money percentage is 10%. That 5 lakh I have to put because the banks like to see that you're also risking it. It's not just the bank who's taking all the risk, it's you also who's taking the risk. And this is common across the platform. If you're not required to spend any money or give any margin money or show any margin money while taking your loan, that means you're going to get a very high interest rate. Sometimes interest rates could even like get to 14%. So just be mindful about it. 14% interest rates are insanely high, right? So if you are not able to produce that extra margin money, it's completely fine. It happens to a lot of students, but just make sure that you understand the concept of it. Another term is loan tenure. It's the time frame where you have to pay back your loan end. For example, let's say your loan tenure is 7 years. So I'm considering moratorium period, which we'll talk about. So 2.5 years of study. Let's say 2 years of study plus 6 months of moratorium period, and then 7 years. So you'll have to pay back your loan. My payment starts in 2023. I have 7 years to pay it back. So I'm going to be paying it back in 2030. My idea is simple. Take a higher loan tenure. You don't have to like rush your loan tenure. Why? Because regardless, you'll be paying back much quicker than anticipated. You won't be only making the minimum payments due. So doesn't matter if it's a 7-year loan term or if it's a 10-year loan term. Until unless you're planning to go back to India and you're paying back your loan in India, loan tenure wouldn't affect you that much. Another term is sanction letter. This is the letter which you will be submitting to the university to show that you have funds, and you will be taking to your visa interview as well to show that you have been sanctioned a loan, or this is like a pre-approval letter that I will be getting a loan from SBI HDFC. One thing I really want to tell you is that please do not disperse any amount into your account before your visa. Why? Because you will start accruing interest as soon as you get it dispersed into your account. Let it sit in the bank's account and just disperse it before you are actually going to the United States. Let's say you're going in August. I would say July 15th is a great time to get it dispersed in your account. A lot of banks also encourage you to like just they send it directly to the university and the university disperses your living expenses. It varies bank to bank, and you will need to understand the process there. It is common for some people to like push out that hey, you should. They scare you basically that you should disperse the loan amount into your account so that it shows in the visa that you have that amount. But that's not true at all. They are looking for a pre-approval letter. They're just looking for a sanction letter. That's it. That's the truth of it. Moratorium period is another term. Moratorium period is the time where you don't have to pay any of the principal amount. You just have to pay interest. Okay. You don't even have to pay interest rate. If you do pay interest rate, if you're taking a loan from an Indian bank, if you do pay interest, then your parent would get tax benefits on it. My dad was able to save some money on his salary because he was paying the interest while we were still studying. So the moratorium period is your education plus 6 months of time. So let's say your education is 1 year plus 6 months. 1 year, 6 months is going to be the moratorium period where you don't have to make any payments. As soon as those 6 months end, your payments start and you can start making payments. A lot of students like use those 6 months first of all to find a job, and then once they find a job, they're able to save some money as emergency fund and then save some money to pay back loan. So they're paying back like 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10K in one go and able to reduce their loan amount pretty significantly. And then comes to repayments, right? You are paying every month. My repayment on that 40 lakh or 50 lakh loan I took was 80,000, 90,000 rupees per month. My tenure period was around 7 to 10 years. I do not exactly remember, but I was able to pay that loan back within 3 years. So I was making more payments. All of my bonuses, benefits, like any money I would be able to get through my company, I was sending it to India. The US dollar INR conversion is awesome. I was sending it to India and like pushing it out. Now that you understand the loan terms and how the loan process works, I want to tell you my story and how I was able to like pay off the 50K loan within 3 years on a construction manager's salary. I on an average in the 3 years, I made around $80,000 per year. After taxes, my 401k, everything cut off, I was getting around $4,000 in my account, $4,200 in my account. I was able to save significantly. My expenses were really low. My wife is also here, so we share expenses, but my expenses were very low. I tell every student that if you're taking out a loan, please, please, please ensure that you're able to pay back your loan within 3 years. Why? Because a lot of students they do not get picked up in the lottery, and if there's a lottery, you can't do anything about it. So make sure you're able to pay back your loan as quickly as possible. So 3 years is your timeline. Your 1 year of OPT, 2 years of STEM extension. Pay back your loan and get it over with. I've known stories of students like they have talked to me who have paid back their loan, like 100K loan within 1.5 years, 2 years. They're making 200K, 300K salaries. Of course, they're tech people, but even non-tech folks, they're paid back their loan in 2.5 years, 2 years. It's that easy. Keep your expenses low. Live in a shared apartment with a friend of yours. Do not buy a car if you don't have to. If you don't need something, don't buy it, and just pay back your loan as quickly as possible. That was it. Please, please, please comment all of your questions regarding loans and regarding collateral, non-collateral, any of the terms I mentioned, any of the things I missed. Please comment down below and I'll be able to help you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this one. All of the links are there, all of the timestamps are there. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.